Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nemeka Onyeka Oberi. Nigeria is estimated to have a population of 220 million people. And over the last 10 hours, the whole of Nigeria had been thrown into darkness because the Nigerian Labour Congress and the UTC had embarked on a nationwide strike, and their first port of call was shut down the transmission company of Nigeria and the national grid. And so everybody had been thrown into darkness. The rest of the 217 million Nigerians had been thrown into darkness because of the struggle between the political class and the civil servants, the public servants, less than 2 million population of Nigeria. It's very unfortunate that the NLC, TUC, and the political office holders do not realize that Nigeria does not begin and ends with them. Nigeria is made up of 36 states, plus Abuja, 774 local government areas, 8,809 electoral wards, and about 176,874 polling units. Nigeria is a nation of over 270 million people. Therefore, the struggle and the squabble between the political office holders and the civil servants, who are their bedfellows, is not the reason why the whole of Nigeria should be thrown into chaos, into darkness, into the kind of confusion that we have experienced. And this again brings to fore the need for us to restructure Nigeria. The quasi-unitary system of government and the operations that we are having today, because of the Abdulsalam Abubakar 1999 satanic versus labeled constitution, is where we are today. All over the world, the nations where our kind of democracy is practiced, Nigeria is supposed to be a country made up of federating units. At the inception of this country, at the independence of this country, before the independence of Nigeria in 1960, the founding fathers of this nation clearly understood the diversities, the differences in culture, in civilization, of the over 251 ethnic nationalities that made up this country called Nigeria. And they decided to fashion out a constitutional and physical framework that provided semi-autonomy for the constituent units, which happened to be 3 regions in 1960 and the 4 regions in 1963. And today we have 6 regions. And what has happened over the last 12 hours reinforces the need for us to totally unbundle the constitutional, physical, socio-economic, governance, and political framework of Nigeria back to the 1963 framework. If you look at other democracies, United States, from where we borrowed our model of presidential system of government, salaries of civil servants in Ohio is not the same thing with salaries of civil servants in Georgia. It's not the same thing with salaries of civil servants in different places. In United Arab Emirates, which has about 7 federating emirates, people do their things, pay the salaries that they can pay based on the productivity of their regions. When we fully structure Nigeria today, and we have semi-autonomous federating units of 6 regions, and then the states become provinces, the regions have power to create as many provinces as they want. Whatever structure they want to run within their system, they are free to do it. Whatever governance model that suits them, that helps them to take the dividends of democracy to the grassroots, is best for them. Under the current constitutional framework, look at it, national grid. Never struck at the national grid, everywhere is in darkness. If Nigeria is restructured to what we used to have, we will have one national grid. We will have multiple grids. So if those from the southwest want to protest, it will be southwest that will be protesting. If those from the southeast want to protest, it will not affect the whole of Nigeria. The whole of Nigeria will not be crippled because of the fight between 2 partners who have been part and parcel of the rot of Nigeria. When President Bola Tinubu approved 70 billion naira as relocation allowances and support to National Assembly members. We expected Labour to have closed the whole system and requested for that to be reversed. Labour did not do it. When 40 billion naira was approved for them to buy SUVs against the outcry and austerity issues in Nigeria, Labour did not take to the street to stampede them to stop it. When they shared 57 billion naira during the last Christmas as palliative to buy rice and share, Labour did not shut down Nigeria or protest. When they squandered 16 trillion naira, $34 billion between 2015 to 2023, in faith on around maintenance program and subsidy payment on the PMS, Labour did not shut down Nigeria, and the protest that all this should be done and people who stole our money prosecuted. Labour union members were collecting salaries for 8 years in refineries that were not working. In fact, if you look at the refineries overhead, they were receiving over 120 billion naira annually as recurrent expenditure, both their wages and non-wage expenditure. 120 billion. Those refineries were racking up losses. 100 billion, 120 billion every year. Labour union did not ask why those refineries would not be working for 8 years and yet people are drawing salaries. Labour did not protest. Nigerian crude oil output came down from 2.4 million barrels a day to less than 1 million barrels a day. Labour did not protest and demand for accountability in that sector. A lot of riots has happened in Nigeria. A lot of criminality, a lot of political and elitist banditry. Labour never complained. Labour had decided to shut down Nigeria because they are partners in crime. The political office holders who were approving allowances for themselves do not deem it fit to approve bogus allowances for Nigerian Labour Congress and TUC members. Now you see the hypocrisy and the irony of it all. Labour, if Labour has this kind of power, why are they not exercising this kind of power? Shut down the national grid to protest bad governance. Shut down the national grid to protest insecurity. Labour will not do that. But because their partners in crime have refused to award them their own bogus and the fat allowances while they are chopping their own, they have decided to punish 217 million of us who are not part of the criminality, the looting and the waste of money in the public sector space. It's on record. In 2024 alone, if you look at the budget appropriation, the budgeted expenditure of the 3 tiers of governments in Nigeria is almost about 45 trillion. It's on record that over 60 trillion naira of these monies will be stolen. Go to Abuja, from Maitama to Asokoro to every part. Go to the capital of the states in Nigeria. Most of the topmost properties are owned by civil servants whose salaries in 200 days cannot even buy those properties. How did they get those money? It's part of the looting. Over 60% of whatever is appropriated in Nigeria is looted by the political class with the help of the Labour union members who act as civil servants. And this is an obvious truth that most of us are shy away from. There can be no corruption in the public sector if the members of the Labour union and TUC members and civil servants do not connive and collude with the political office. In fact, it is even reported that they are the ones who show the political office holders how to steal money. Without the connivance, active connivance of the civil servants and the bankers in the banking industry, there's no way political officers can loot. And this is the truth. So Nigeria cannot be crippled because there's misunderstanding between Labour and their partners in crime. And that is the truth. And these are the truths that most of us will refuse to say. See, scientifically, we've made this position known. The current GDP per capita of Nigeria is $1,150. Current exchange rate, I looked at the NAFEM rate. The NAFEM rate today in Nigeria is 1487, up from 450 in 2023 May because of the same harness between Labour and the political class. 1150, which is the GDP per capita, times 1485. The GDP per capita is 1.7 million divided by 12. The GDP per capita monthly that is due to every human being in Nigeria is 142,000 naira a month. Insane crimes where things are done properly. There's no way that anybody from the presidency to the National Assembly members to the governors should be collecting salaries worth more than 142,000 naira a month, even palm sex and ministers, because that is the level of productivity of the average Nigerian. And that is the truth, and that are facts. The measure of productivity in the economy is measured by GDP and GDP per capita. Look at South Korea. South Korea, 28 million people. We were ahead of South Korea, far ahead of them in 1980. Today, their GDP per capita is $1.6 trillion. If you divide $1.6 trillion by 28 million people, which is their population, their GDP per capita is $58,000. If you multiply by 1485, it is 84 million. Divide by 12. So the average South Korean can actually demand for 7 million naira a month salary, and it will be justified. We have an economy that is riddled by rent seeking, by corruption, by inefficiencies. Everywhere, people are stealing, people are looting, inefficiency from the judiciary to the legislative to the government. Everywhere is a cesspool of corruption. Now, the rest of the 217 million Nigerians who are not part of the criminality in the public sector are being punished. Scientifically, minimum wage in Nigeria, if we look at what happened in 2011, 2008, 2019, minimum wage should be around 120,000 with a proviso that our GDP per capita goes to where it used to be, at least $2,500 under Jonathan. We cannot pay salary of $120,000 on a GDP per capita of $1,150 because the people that are supposed to provide the programs, the policies, the ease of doing business to enable the private sector create wealth and create jobs to grow our GDP, that will enable them tax and make so much money, are those in the public sector. You guys are conspiring to cripple this country, and yet you don't see it. Labor see themselves as victims. The labor union members are not victims. The civil servants in Nigeria are not victims. Who are those that rig election? Those are professors, those are teachers. Who are those that work as ad hoc staff for INEC, that help to rig in this mass of criminals who are destroying our lives? They are the civil servants and the professors. If not for them note in Abia State, election will have been reached out, and Abia will have still been in darkness. The other 36 professors, we knew what they did. We knew what they did as electoral officers. We knew what they did as what commission officers. We knew the criminalities that the members of this class are doing to Nigeria. You can't eat your cake and have it. If you want an economy that works, an economy where minimum wage is 300,000 naira as in South Africa, then you must support each and every one of us in Nigeria to build a society, to impanel a restructured constitutional and physical framework that enhances productivity, to push for electoral reform that will enable Nigerians for their votes to count so that they can elect competent, capable, productive and patriotic and creatively skillful Nigerians, just in the mode of Jakande and Amadu and Dr. Michael Obara, people that have creative mind, so that they can add to provide policies and programs that can help us build a $1 trillion economy. Our lives cannot be ruined because of the struggle between less than 2 million people who have been at the foundation of the criminality and wickedness that have been bedeviling this country. Enough of this rubbish now. Enough of this. The whole national grid has been shut down because their partners in crime cannot agree to pay them $650,000. $650,000. How will even Joe Agero and go collect $650,000 as minimum wage? Where will the money come from? Now, wow. We must restructure Nigeria by fire, by thunder. Nigeria must be restructured back to the constitutional framework, fiscal framework of 1963. We have to go back to the era that worked, so that each region can control their civil service, control their own people, produce and develop at their own pace, so that we don't lump up everybody together and destroy a mass of people who God has placed in a paradise. God have mercy.